Welcome to CinePreviewHub, your go-to destination for exciting movie recaps. In a small, confined space, a young boy named Jack wakes up in a room that feels both strange and familiar to him. Jack is 5 years old, and for as long as he can remember, this small room is all he has ever known. The room has basic necessities: a bed, a table, a small kitchen, a bathtub, but to Jack, this is the entire universe. His mother, Ma, is the only other person in this world, and she is the center of Jack's life. To Ma, the room is not home but a prison. She has been held captive in this space for 7 years, kidnapped when she was only 17 years old. Jack was born in captivity, and for him, the room is all he has ever known. Ma does her best to protect Jack from the harsh realities of their confinement, creating a world of imagination and play to make the room feel less like a cage. They play games, read books, and Ma teaches Jack about the outside world, though he struggles to understand that there is anything beyond the room. Jack has never been outside. He doesn't understand that outside of the room there are other people, other places, and an entire world filled with possibilities. For him, the world is the room. He names objects like bed, chair, and wardrobe as though they are his friends. He talks to them and gives them life, because in his mind, they are part of his reality. Every night, Jack and Ma follow a strict routine. When it gets dark, Jack has to sleep inside the wardrobe. Ma tells him it's because old Nick, the man who keeps them captive, visits them at night. Jack doesn't fully understand what this means, but he knows to stay quiet and hidden when old Nick comes. Ma bears the burden of dealing with old Nick alone, never letting Jack witness her pain or suffering. Despite the darkness of their situation, Ma finds ways to keep Jack's life as normal as possible. She celebrates his birthday with makeshift cakes, sings songs, and encourages Jack to learn. She fills his days with love and creativity, knowing that without hope, they will both be consumed by the despair of their reality. As Jack grows older, Ma realizes that she can't keep the truth from him much longer. She begins to explain that there is a world outside the room, a real world with trees, sky, and people. At first, Jack doesn't believe her. To him, the room is the only reality he knows, and the idea of an outside world feels like a fantasy. But Ma persists, telling him that they need to escape, that they need to find a way to get out and live in the real world. One night, old Nick tells Ma that he has lost his job and may not be able to provide for them much longer. This fills Ma with fear. What will happen to her and Jack if old Nick stops coming? She knows they need to act fast. Ma devises a plan for escape, but it's risky. She pretends that Jack is very sick, hoping that old Nick will take him to a hospital. When this doesn't work, Ma comes up with a bolder plan. She tells Jack that he needs to play dead. She wraps him in a rug and tells old Nick that Jack has died from illness. Old Nick reluctantly agrees to take Jack's body away. As old Nick drives with Jack wrapped in the rug, Jack is terrified but follows his mother's instructions. At the first opportunity, Jack escapes from the truck and runs into the world beyond the room. For the first time in his life, Jack experiences the outside world. It's overwhelming: so many sounds, sights, and people. Jack is confused, frightened, but also amazed by the vastness of the world he never knew existed. A passerby sees Jack and helps him. The police are called, and they quickly realize that Jack is the missing boy who has been held captive for years. With Jack's escape, the authorities are able to track down Ma and rescue her from the room. After years of imprisonment, Ma and Jack are finally free. But freedom comes with its own set of challenges. Once they are free, Ma and Jack are taken to the hospital, where they are treated for malnutrition and trauma. Jack is in awe of the world around him: the sky, the trees, the people. Everything is new and overwhelming. For Ma, adjusting to the outside world is far more complicated. She struggles with the trauma of her captivity, and though she is free, she feels the weight of everything she has lost. Ma's family, who have long believed she was dead, are overjoyed to have her back, but they, too, struggle to understand what she has been through. Her mother, Nancy, is filled with guilt for not having been able to protect her daughter. Ma's father, Robert, finds it difficult to look at Jack, a constant reminder of the horrors his daughter endured. Jack himself is confused by all the new faces, the big house, and the people who claim to be his family. As Jack and Ma try to rebuild their lives, the outside world presents new challenges. Jack is not used to the vastness of the world. There are too many people, too many choices, too much space. He longs for the familiarity of the small room, which, for him, represented safety and comfort. The world outside feels chaotic and overwhelming, and Jack struggles to adjust to the noise, the crowds, and the vastness of it all. He clings to Ma for reassurance, but even she seems different now. Ma is no longer the sole protector of his world. There are other people now, other influences, and this confuses Jack. For Ma, freedom is bittersweet. She is grateful to be out of captivity, but the outside world brings its own pressures and expectations. The media attention is relentless. Journalists want to know every detail of her ordeal, and the world watches her every move. She feels exposed, vulnerable, and even though she's free, a part of her is still trapped by the trauma she endured. The world she once knew has changed, and she finds it difficult to reconnect with it. Nancy, Ma's mother, tries to help her daughter adjust to life outside. She offers Ma and Jack a place to stay in her home, but it's clear that Ma is struggling. She has spent so long surviving in isolation that living in a world with other people feels alien to her. She has trouble trusting anyone, even her own family, and her relationship with her mother is strained. Nancy wants to help, but Ma feels suffocated by her well-meaning but overbearing attempts to care for her and Jack. Jack, on the other hand, is beginning to explore the world in his own way. Although the outside world is frightening to him, it is also fascinating. For the first time in his life, he sees animals, plants, and other children. He's curious about everything, asking Ma endless questions about things he's never seen before. Slowly, Jack begins to venture outside more, and with each step, he grows more confident in this new world. But the transition is not easy. Jack misses the room, the place where he felt secure and where his entire world made sense. He asks Ma if they can go back, not understanding that the room was a prison for her. Ma tries to explain that the room was never a home, that it was a place of confinement and pain, but to Jack, it still holds a sense of comfort and familiarity. As Jack starts school, he is exposed to more of the world outside, meeting new people and making friends. It's a strange and overwhelming experience for him. He doesn't know how to interact with other children, and the rules of social engagement are foreign to him. But with time, Jack begins to adapt, learning to navigate the complexities of life outside the room. His curiosity drives him forward, and though he still struggles with anxiety and confusion, he starts to find joy in the freedom of the outside world. Ma continues to battle her own demons. She feels immense pressure to be a good mother to Jack while dealing with her trauma. Her mental health begins to deteriorate, and she finds it increasingly difficult to cope with the demands of the outside world. One day, in a moment of overwhelming despair, Ma attempts to take her own life. Jack, who is too young to fully understand what has happened, is left confused and scared. After Ma's suicide attempt, she is hospitalized, and Jack goes to live with Nancy temporarily. Although he misses his mother, Jack starts to develop a closer bond with his grandmother. Nancy is patient and kind, helping Jack adjust to life outside the room without overwhelming him. Jack slowly begins to feel more at ease, finding comfort in the simple things: playing in the garden, reading books with his grandmother, and learning about the world at his own pace. When Ma is released from the hospital, she and Jack start the difficult process of rebuilding their relationship. Ma is still fragile, both physically and emotionally, but she is determined to be there for Jack. Jack, in his innocence, doesn't fully understand the depths of his mother's pain, but he offers her unconditional love and support. Together, they start to heal, learning to navigate the outside world as a family. As time passes, Ma and Jack continue to adjust to their new lives. Jack is thriving in his new environment. He's made friends at school, discovered new hobbies, and is starting to understand the world beyond the room. He's still curious, asking Ma endless questions about everything he sees. His sense of wonder is endless. and he finds joy in the smallest things: a leaf falling from a tree, the sound of rain on the window, the feel of the wind on his face. Ma, though still struggling, begins to find small moments of happiness too. She watches Jack grow and change, and it gives her a sense of purpose. She still has bad days, days when the trauma of her captivity weighs heavily on her, but she's learning to cope. Therapy helps, and she starts to open up about her experience, sharing her story with others who have gone through similar traumas. The media attention eventually dies down, and Ma and Jack are able to live more peacefully. They find a new normal, one where they are not defined by the room, but by the lives they are building together. Ma decides to move into her own place, separate from her mother's house, so that she and Jack can have a fresh start. Their new home is small, but it's theirs. For the first time, Ma and Jack are free to create a space that is truly their own. Jack helps Ma decorate, picking out colors for his room and choosing where to put his toys. The new house is a symbol of their freedom, a place where they can finally begin to heal and move forward. As Jack grows older, his memories of the room begin to fade. He still thinks about it sometimes, but the outside world has become more real to him now. He has created new memories, new experiences, and the room no longer holds the same significance it once did. Ma continues to heal as well. She still has moments of pain and grief, but she is stronger now. She's building a life for herself and Jack, one where they are no longer defined by their past but by the possibilities of their future. The journey from the confines of the room to the vastness of the outside world is one filled with challenges, pain, and ultimately, hope. Jack and Ma's story is one of resilience and survival, of finding strength in the darkest of circumstances and learning to live again after unimaginable trauma. For Jack, the world outside the room is filled with endless possibilities. He has discovered freedom, friendship, and a sense of belonging that he never knew existed. Though the transition was difficult, Jack has grown into a happy, curious, and adventurous boy, eager to explore the world around him. For Ma, the journey has been more complex. She continues to struggle with the trauma of her past, but she is determined to build a better life for herself and her son. She has found strength in her role as a mother and in her ability to overcome the horrors of her captivity. Though the scars of her past may never fully heal, Ma is learning to live with them, finding joy in the small moments and hope in the future she is creating for Jack. Positive reviews and IMDb information. This deeply emotional and powerful story has resonated with audiences and critics alike. It has been praised for its raw and moving portrayal of trauma, survival, and the unbreakable bond between a mother and her child. The performances, particularly that of the young boy and his mother, have been hailed as extraordinary. On IMDb, the movie holds a rating of 8.1/10, with many viewers appreciating its heartfelt storytelling and the emotional depth of its characters. You can watch this captivating and inspiring story on streaming platforms such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Google Play. It's a film that will stay with you long after the credits roll, reminding you of the resilience of the human spirit. Guess the movie in comment section. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please show your support by liking, subscribing, and commenting below. Stay tuned for more thrilling content from CinePreviewHub.